spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is me and God is you. God's in everything we do. There is no spot where God is not. And I know that God is everywhere, in the trees and in the air. When I feel like I have lost my way, I just open my heart and I hear Spirit say, there is no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is me and God is you. God's in everything we do, and there is no spot where God is not. No matter what you think or do, God's right here inside of you. And I know that I am not alone. When I rest in God, I know I'm home. There is no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is me and God is you. God's in everything we do, and there is no spot where God is not. There's no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. There is no spot. There's no spot. Thank you.
There is cool. Thank you. All right. Well, I noticed we're not singing "Where Is the Light" anymore because, it's a little green. And hey, the groundhog did not see its shadow. We are going to have an early spring. I could go for that. Okay. So in January, we focused on intention and words, and we are examining our joyful resilience. And now we're going to start taking a deeper dive. So we're going to have this class with Reverend Colleen and our speakers. I'm really enjoying this lineup. We have Travis today, Ron Wallace, Susan Julie, and Vondra Delaney Morgan. And then in March, we're going to have Sandy Groves. So it's unity from different perspectives. And these people that are speaking, they've taken the deep dive. So they're going to share that with us. So I'm really looking forward to that. And now in the newsletter, last week, I love this. Colleen gave us 6 words. And I noticed that in the newsletter, I'd meant to put, Tam got it. Tam switched it. Well, but the thing is but what I wanted, that's the way I put it in the newsletter.
I screwed you up then.
Yeah, that's the way, you thought you were lovingly correcting me. Because what I was trying to do was get all the good words on the other side. So that's the way I did this, and then I switched everything. So, if you really think about it, we live in that, we can envision that safe, harmonious, and abundant world. And it's when you get into the other words that it's something else. And there's having a strength and tenacity to do that. And so, boy, Travis Wyly, great example of strength and faith and vitality. I'm sure that's at the top of Pinnacle, isn't it? Yep. I went on your Facebook site. I knew I was going to get 1 million pictures on Pinnacle. But And he just hoofs it up to the top. So you talk about physically strong, but as I've gotten to know Travis, and he's a prayer chaplain also, he really has that strength and faith too. So I'm really looking forward to what you're going to be sharing with us today. So let's all get together and greet.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Again. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there's peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is joy, inside there is peace, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God. Thank you.
Oh, I like that. In fact, that's what this part of the service is about, to go inside. The light inside of us, the peace and the joy at the core of us is never changing. It's always there for us to tap into that divine nature. And we light our Christ candle to remind us that we have that light inside, always. And also we have the prayer box. I'm Jeannie McGee. I'm the prayer chaplain for today. I'm wearing my stole of 12 hours. Feels good. And you can put a prayer in our box. We pray over it for 30 days. No one ever has to know. That's a completely anonymous thing. And then we send it to Silent Unity. And it's also prayed over there at Unity Village. So our prayer box is a very powerful symbol in unity. So we're talking about the 12 powers. Well, this month is strength. It's really not, it's sort of arbitrary, but generally we look at strength in February. But that's so appropriate for us. We had a board meeting yesterday, and I think about, if you look at what could have been with our transition last fall, and the courage and the tenacity that we have faced it with, and we've created some stability and harmony is today's daily word. And I know that Travis is going to talk more about that. But let's say a prayer and recognize this strength in us. Let's take a deep breath and kind of relax into this moment. I'm letting go of all the deadlines I've met this morning. Here we are now. As I think of this community, I see and claim this divine strength, that tenacity, that stabilization. We're standing up, we're moving forward, and we still have work to do, but we deny the power of that work to overwhelm us. We claim our divine strength. We also claim the harmony we're creating in this community. In divine love, wisdom, and understanding, we bring harmony into our hearts. Oh, and then those waves, they go out into the community, outside these doors, and into the world. It really makes a difference where we are, the harmony that we have. So what I bring to each relationship determines my experience and obviously influences others. I view every relationship, every situation through the lens of my being a living expression of God. I am grateful for this expression. I'm grateful for all the 12 powers, but I'm really feeling that strength this morning. And the good vibration in this community. We are so grateful. And so it is. Amen. So now, in strength, the color green, let us claim our statement of being. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Now. Oh, okay.
And I'm thinking about, I actually wrote this song back during the presidential elections when it just looked like things weren't going to go my way. and they didn't. But I was trying to look at the positive side of it and take what I could. So. Somewhere inside of me, among all the other voices, all the other choices that I've made, somewhere inside of me, where I can't hear the hurt and anger of the heroes seeking Christ who do not see. Somewhere inside of me, a cry of perfect harmony, a voice from deep beneath the sea, from beyond all space and time, somewhere inside of you. I know you hear the same voice I do. It may only be a whisper, but it's clear. Somewhere inside of those who are hurtful and condemning, is also present, but it's so hard to hear through the noise, through the fear. It sings love, and it sings of peace. Sings of love, and it sings of peace. If it's inside of me, then it's inside of you. is inside of all we know. If it's inside of me, then it's inside of you. It's inside of all we know. Love, help me out here. And it sings of peace. It sings of love. And it sings of peace. It sings of love. And it sings of inside of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tam.
Does that go well with your talk?
Thank you, Bill. Yes, it does. It goes along with my talk beautifully. Good morning, everyone. Wow, it's great to see everyone here today. Everybody having a good day so far? The weather's beautiful. I told Scott before the service, I'm just going to have everybody go out back. We're going to go to the garden and sit around. You know, it would just be perfect, wouldn't it? I would love that. But I guess we'll stay right here. I'm glad everyone is here this morning. And you know, before I get started, I just want to say the invocation because I think that's a good way to kind of bring us in and get silenced. And really, it's for myself. So if you will, just close your eyes and just listen to this. I am the presence of pure being, emanating the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am all that God is, expressing at the point of me. As I express divine wisdom, all thoughts of mortal limitation have no power over me. I am the presence and power of pure love, bringing into manifestation my world according to divine wisdom. And so it is. Now I'm ready to get started. If you're new to Unity, you may be thinking, what the heck was that all about? Well, you know, that's what Unity's about. This is kind of a whole different way of approaching our spirituality and our beliefs and our understanding. I'm excited to be here today. This is Super Bowl Sunday. Everybody's aware of that, correct? Yeah, I know Pat is. She's pulling for the Rams today because she's an old California girl, so she's wanting her Rams to win. And I'm kind of pulling for the Patriots myself because I'm a big Tom Brady fan. You know, he's 41 years old. And, you know, when you get to be an old school like me, you start pulling for the old school athletes. So, you know, I want to go Tom. I want him to win, you know. But really, I have no real dog in the hunt. I'm just looking forward to a good game. You know, it brings back some memories when I think of this Super Bowl Sunday. It took me back to a Super Bowl Sunday 28 years ago. 28 years ago, it was on Sunday, and I had an experience, and I'm going to share something with you. You know, I don't talk about this a lot, and it's not a big deal. I don't need to talk about it, but I got this coin, and if you don't know what this is a recovery coin, 12-step recovery coin, and I'm not going to say the fellowship because, you know, we protect anonymity and all that, but it's a 12-step program, and it's got 28 years on it. It's been 28 years that I've been part of this fellowship. As of January 20th, thank you for that. I didn't tell you that to get acknowledgement or anything, but you know, it's just the way it is. Well, 28 years ago, I was about less than a week into my recovery. So, you know, I'd not been drinking, and I'd gone to church on a Sunday, and you know, this kind of gone to my old church, and y'all have heard me talk a little bit about this, the old church that I was raised in, that my parents raised me in, and I'm in my early 30s, you know, and so we had an evening service, and I went to the evening service because that's what they do. And some of we don't have an evening service here, but you know how it is. I was feeling pretty good. I was trying to turn my life around, and I know I'm guessing every single one of you have been there, where you've had a period of transition in your life where things weren't working out and something had to change, and so you start taking those steps, and you get that little bit of hope. And that hope for me was I went to church that night because I was trying to get plugged into my spiritual. I wanted that spiritual nourishment. Well, I left that service, and I'm driving back to my apartments. I lived in North Little Rock at the time, and I knew there was going to be a Super Bowl party over there. And my plan was I'm going to go to this Super Bowl party, and after church. But you know what? A moment of clarity came to me because I knew that was going to be a party, that it was an adult, kind of complex. They were going to have a keg of beer. And I thought, maybe instead of going to that party, and someone had told me about a 12-step meeting that was right over here on the reservoir group. And so maybe I ought to go over here instead. So I went to that meeting. I skipped the party. And I think it's probably a good thing because I think if I'd gone to that party that night, I'm not sure would have been showing you that 28-year coin this morning, So I think I made the right decision. And I think about that every year when the Super Bowl rolls around because it's, it kind of puts you in that thought of gratitude. So, I'm so happy, because when I look at that was really my start of my spiritual journey, of my spiritual transformation. Jeannie said, mentioned about speakers who dove into the deep end. And I got to tell you something. I don't feel like I dove anywhere. I feel like I was pushed. I was pushed into the deep end from a big high cliff, the bluffs down at Greer's Ferry, where that's kind of what I felt like it was. And the thing is, what I realized, I pushed myself. I pushed myself, and it's either sink or swim, and so I've had to learn this. And when I got into that 12-step program all those years ago, it's really what started me on this journey. And I was raised in this really, really fundamentalist church. And it was way out there even for fundamentalist churches. So, it was one of these religions where, we believed that, first of all, that there was a heaven and a hell and that there was this God of judgment up there and that, we were going to be judged by this 70 plus, 75, 80, 100 years if you're lucky. Whatever your lifetime is on this earth, you're going to be judged for eternity, heaven or hell. And so, and that just always scared the heck out of me. I hated that. It never made any sense to me, but I tried to conform my life and to believe that. So when I, finally hit my bottom and I started going into this 12-step program, they're talking about God as you understand him, that you get to choose your own conception of God, of what God is. Well, that was just total radical thinking to me. These people are talking about prayer, how that the power of prayer in their life gives them the strength to stay clean and to stay sober and to live one day at a time. And no kidding, in my mind, I'm thinking these people are crazy. God's not listening to their prayers because they don't go to my church. See, that's what I was raised being taught that if you don't go and belong to this little community, God doesn't even hear your prayers. You are without God in your life. And today I believe that's really some sort of spiritual abuse. And a lot of us have grown up with that. And it takes a lot of years of recovery just to break free of that. But that started me on my journey, and I began to question my beliefs and my thoughts. And without going into all the details, I left that church after a few years and of kind of working this other program, and I realized, it's time for me to grow up spiritually. I had to grow up, and I had to start making my own decisions about what I believed. I had to get away from that old BS, that old belief system that I was raised in, and I had to adopt some new BS, so I did. I adopted some new BS for a while, and eventually I came to Unity. And I got exposed to their BS, to the belief system here. And so, it was probably 1994, it had to maybe 95. I guess my daughter was born, so she's going to be 25 this month. So it was just right after she had been born that, I had left that old church, and I kind of hung for a while and didn't go anywhere. And, I got to tell you, when you've been raised like me, you get up every Sunday morning, and of course, I was being drugged to church, but, and then when I became an adult, though, I went freely because it was just, I had to. It was like, I was this little automaton, I had to be there every Sunday, so I went. But when you're used to going to church, it feels weird to not go to church. But I went for a few months, and I just didn't go anywhere. And I had someone that was coming over here, and y'all may have heard me tell this story, and they kept pressuring me to come. So I finally came over here, and I got to tell you, from the first service at Unity Church, right here in this congregation, this room, I felt like I had come home. I felt like I belonged. This is a community that was going to give me the freedom to expand my spirituality, to learn and to grow. Now, I got to tell you, though, when I came into Unity, some of the beliefs that I was getting exposed to were way out there. I mean, it was really challenging my thoughts. And that's in spite of my profession. I'm in a kind of a natural health care practitioner. I'm a chiropractor, and so as such, I've been exposed to a lot of alternative ideas and spiritualities. One of my classmates was John DeMartini, and he's a world famous speaker now. He's part of The Secret, and I used to sit with him in class and took a ton of his material and seminars back whenever he was local, and he could do that. And anyway, so I've met a lot of great people in my profession. But when I came to Unity and started really getting nuts and bolts, this was some far out thoughts for me. And so, so I was like a sponge. I was soaking it up. I was taking it in. And so at that time, I wanted to join Unity Church. Well, to become a member at that time, you had to take the 12 Powers class. You had certain classes that they required you to take if you wanted to become a member. And so I took the 12 Powers class. 12 Powers is a book written by Charles Fillmore. And I got to tell you, when the first time I started going through these powers and hearing all this material, I was really, really confused about it. It just didn't make a lot of sense. You're going through the power of life. Some of them I could see, power of love and the, judgment and wisdom. But of course, I was still bringing in that old belief system from all of my old past, and I'm trying to take these new thoughts. Hey, there's PJ or TJ, yeah, and oh, Reverend Colleen. Hey, Reverend Colleen, come in. Oh, it's good to see you. But I'm trying to wrap all my old thoughts and around this new belief system. So it was a struggle, elimination. That really, what in the world? Elimination's a power? How does that work? What's that all about? But anyway, but I got that, and I'm going to be honest, that impacted me. But it's taken, over the last 25 years of being part of Unity for that to really, really deepen. And I'm going to tell you, if you're sitting here today and maybe you've heard of the 12 powers and you've talked about them and you've listened to them and you've never really gotten into them, I'm going to recommend that, you just stay at it. Because these 12 powers that Charles Fillmore wrote about and that's been written about many times in Unity have a depth to them and a breadth to them that never ends. And in the way I see it today, these 12 powers are the forces, they're the spiritual forces that are at work in the universe, in the cosmos. It is the way life is unfolding through each and every one of us. It is that oneness that we are all connected is through these 12 powers. And so this morning, I want to spend just a little bit of time talking about really just one of those powers, and we're going to talk about the power of strength. And I'm not sure how this happened. Reverend Colleen could give us much better background information of how all this developed. But Charles, he related each of these powers to a month of the year and to a disciple. He had them related to the disciples and to a color and to a part of the body. And I'm not sure how that happened. And he showed some of his research. And, I believe that back then maybe some of these early teachers in the New Thought movement, because it was really back in the late 1800s, the early 1900s, that's when we started seeing all this new thought, these impulses streaming down to mankind, coming in through all these great teachers like Charles Fillmore and Emily Cady and Eddie Baker, Rudolf Steiner was one back during that period of time. There was a lot of great things happened around the turn of the century because there was a lot of spiritual forces coming through into mankind. So, I'm not sure how they came up with all these connections, but I believe there was some sort of intuition that played a really big part of that. So, the power for January, and just to back up, the power for January was faith. And, faith just is the ability to perceive, intuit, and to believe. Your faith to believe. And I think about, whenever all those years I was in that old church, my faith was there. My ability to believe and to perceive. We get to choose where we're going to put our faith. That's why it's important that we be careful of what we choose to believe. The disciple for faith is Peter and represents faith in spiritual things, faith in God, faith in the truth of who I am. Faith in the truth of who I am. Faith is redemptive courage. Faith is redemptive courage. And an affirmation for faith would be, faith blesses my day and paves my way. Isn't that sweet? Faith blesses my day and paves my way. Well, the power for February is strength. And strength is the ability to endure, to stay the course, to persevere. The ability to endure, to stay the course. And the disciple for strength is Andrew. And says Andrew represents the stability that lies at the foundation of every true character. Let's talk about that for a second. The stability that lies at the foundation of every true character is strength. Now that idea of true character, what does it mean to have true character? To know someone with true character. That's someone that, their true character comes out in all of life's circumstances. When life is hard and it's unfair and it's unjust and people, your true character comes through. When life is good and it's prosperous and abundant and people are being nice to you, your true character comes through. Have you ever known someone that was really, really nice until, they went to a restaurant and they got poor service from a waiter or a waitress, and then all of a sudden they just turned into somebody like, their true character came out, and it's like they weren't very forgiving, they weren't very compassionate, they weren't very understanding. Well, the whole foundation of our true character lies in strength. And I think that's important, in strength that we have to have. So strength is not simply a physical quality, obviously. As with all the 12 powers, it expresses itself on 3 levels, each one complementing their expression here on earth. Some of this material, just to let you know, I got it off a great resource, unity.org. Okay, so you go to Unity and you put in the little search bar 12 powers and you can just find all sorts of information there. But of course, in the physical realm, strength is vitality, endurance, and the ability to persist. And strength, the power of strength that we're talking about, the spiritual power of strength, certainly plays a part in the physical realm. If you're feeling physically weak, if you're feeling, physically unable to perform, or inept, if you will, then you want to develop your spiritual power of strength, because that will work within your body to strengthen your physical body. In the mental area, strength is an expression of that quality of mind which enables one to lead. To be a leader requires strength. To accomplish, to follow through on decisions, and to establish purposes in life. So, a lot of times someone thinks, I just can't follow through. I make a decision to do something and then I do it for a while and then I drop off. I need to strengthen, it's my will, but it's not really will, it's strength. You need strength is what allows us to follow through on the decisions that we make. I'm going to exercise 3 days a week. Then it takes strength of character to do that, to stay with that. It takes strength to hold firm to spiritual principles in daily living. It takes a certain strength of character to say, I am going to get up and spend 10 minutes in meditation every single day. And to set my alarm and do that. And that means even on the days when I don't feel like doing that, I'm going to make myself. That takes strength to develop that strength of character. It expresses itself as the stability of character. I really like that. And I'm just going to kind of go through this a little bit. So it said that the highest expression and the one that should determine the direction of strength in other realms is the spiritual realization of this quality. Here, strength is closely allied with faith. Now, I think it's interesting. So, Peter was the disciple for faith, and Andrew is the disciple for strength. Well, Peter and Andrew were brothers in the Bible. So I really love the way Fillmore says that, strength and faith are like brothers. So, we got to have faith in something, but then we also have to have strength in that faith. And so that's how those two, so, as we start building our faith, we have to build our strength. He says faith has to be established in strength. If I don't have faith in myself, and that's, think of it. I said, well, I want to get up and exercise. I'm going to get myself in shape. But I don't have faith in myself that I can do that. Well, then I have got to develop my strength. I have the opportunity to work and develop my strength in the faith in myself to know that I can follow through. I can do these things. Even if I fail, even if I fall short sometimes, I can get back up and I can continue going. It says faith must continually be strengthened, and strength must be inspired to right action by spiritual faith. I love it. Faith must be continually strengthened, and strength must be inspired to right action by spiritual faith. Strength enables us to persist in prayer, to build a stronger and stronger faith in our spiritual nature, in the activity of God. Now, when I read that, boy, I tell you what, it just wells up all sorts of good things inside of me when I tap into that. So, I'm going to read this. It says, strength enables us to persist in prayer, to build a stronger and stronger faith in our spiritual nature, in the activity of, and instead of using the word God there, let's say in the activity of spirit. In the activity of these 12 powers working through you. Because I think it's important. It's been important for me that I try to disconnect from the God word just a little bit, because I still have such a strong, for all those years, an embedded idea of what God, when I hear that word, that judge and that throne. So here at Unity, and it's particularly at Unity of Little Rock, we talk about affirmative prayer. We want to try to, this non-being, this God is not out there. God is inside of here. So through our power of our strength, we are strengthening the spiritual nature and the activity within ourselves. Those 12 powers within us that work through us. And to do these things that need to be done by us as part of becoming that fourth dimension person. And Fillmore talked about that. That fourth dimension of reality, to where we are creating and we're doing and we're, outside the three realms that we're so used to functioning in. That means things happen that there's no explanation for it. Things fall into the right place, and you meet the right person at the right time, and the right thing comes along, and it just all seems to work out. It says the person who depends on physical strength alone is constantly being challenged in human thought, and eventually will be overcome by one who is stronger. Ain't that the truth? I'm going to say how old I am. But anyway, I'm older, than I was 20 years ago. And as I get older, I can feel my physical strength. Jenny talked about me going up Pinnacle, and I do that. That's kind of my thing. I'm the Pinnacle guy. I like to, at least once a week, I go up Pinnacle Mountain. I went up Friday afternoon. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was beautiful because there was nobody up there. I love that. But, I go up the mountain. It takes me about 25 minutes to climb to the top. And it's like no matter how good a shape, I just can't seem to get any faster than that anymore. But that's pretty good. But the fact is, there are people, I see these youngsters, and they're running up there. I see they're doing 2 or 3 times by the time, seriously. But then I see people older than me in their 70s. I'm 61, but I see people in their 70s, in their 80s, and they're taking their time, but they're doing it, The thing is about physical strength, it's going to always go down, right? Physical strength in our body, physical strength in a nation, isn't that the truth? Everything has a life cycle, everything ebbs and flows. Mental strength, mental strength alone, pitted against the strong mind of another, may result in a test of wills. And, oh my God, how I enjoy doing that, have you ever enjoyed getting in a test of will with someone, who's got the greater intellect? And, there's a bunch of smart people in here. But you know what? No matter how smart or intelligent I think I am, there is always somebody smarter and more intelligent. And so it's that test, that mental strength, it goes as well. Now I'm going to tell you, I totally eliminate this idea that as I get older, my mental capacity has to diminish. I don't buy that for a minute. I want to tell you people, I want to plant this. As we get older, we should get smarter, more intelligent. And a lot of work from Deepak Chopra way back in the 90s are talking about the connections in the brain. And as we get older and we get more experience and we learn new things, these neurons are putting out dendrites and they're connecting with all other neurons. It's greater than the number of molecules and atoms in the entire universe. The number of possible connections in our brain. So as you get older, don't think, oh, it's going to be dementia and Alzheimer's and, and sometimers disease, and that's the way it's going to be. That's BS. That's a belief system. So don't believe that. Your physical brain, take care of it. Keep it healthy. Keep it strong. Give it what it needs to be physically adaptable. But your thoughts and your power and your intellect never has to diminish. But that does not mean that there's not going to be someone smarter and more intelligent, more creative. I'm just amazed that people have ideas, and I go, wow, I should have thought of that. Why didn't I think of that? But the spiritual strength is what we rely upon. It's what we're going to build. It says only spiritual strength remains non-resistant, triumphant, regardless of the challenge. Spiritual strength. When I read that, it made me think of Viktor Frankl. Man's Search for Meaning. The man who survived the Nazi concentration camps and came on. To survive something like that, and that's the quality of spiritual strength. Even if your body does go, and even if your mind does go, and that does happen. There is disease processes that affect the brain and the mind, and you can be trapped. But that spiritual quality of strength is what endures. So how do we build strength? How do we build our spiritual strength? Well, there's several ways. One of my favorite ways is affirmations. I just want to bring this point out. I know I'm going to talk about affirmations this morning. It's not my purpose. But as later we will. And if you come to Unity, we talk a lot about affirmations. I gave you an affirmation for faith. Did I give the affirmation for strength? I don't think I did. The affirmation for strength is, I have the strength to accomplish all that is mine to do. I have the strength to accomplish all that is mine to do. If you get the daily word from Unity and Jeannie, like Harmony, that's what I love about the daily word. Every day I get an affirmation in the daily word when I read that. But I also write affirmations on cards. I have an index. I keep it limited to one index card. I write real small, and I put my affirmations on there. And every single day I have whatever my current card is, I read those affirmations every single day. And I have bunches of cards. I've been doing this for years. I'm in a text group. And, so I'm with a group of men, and we text each other every morning. Affirmations done. When I do my affirmations in the morning, I send a text to this group of men that I've done my affirmations, and then they're sending text back, affirmations done. We don't cajole each other. We don't get on to each other. Hey, I didn't, it's just a matter of we just let each other know when we've done our affirmations. And, and I've always done mine. Sometimes I forget the text, but, somebody will text, and then they'll go, oh, it's a reminder. It's just somebody to be accountable to. And it's just a little bit of a tweak preview here, if I may. The prayer chaplain meeting here today, we're going to be looking at something similar. We're going to be talking about prayer. We're going to be talking about prayer challenge, maybe. So y'all just keep your ears and eyes open. We got some exciting stuff coming from the prayer chaplains team here at Unity Church, maybe in April or so. But anyway, so the affirmations are a huge, huge part of it. When I was going through, my transition 28 years ago, and I'd heard, that was a big part then of changing your thought. But the other part of building strength for me has been meditation. And meditation is also a very big part of Unity Church. If you're not a regular person here at Unity Church, if this is new to you, well then, know that. Know that meditation is a big part of the spiritual foundation of what we do here, and I love that today. When I was going to that old church of mine, I can remember as a child being taught that meditation was from the devil. That you should never meditate because it opens your mind up to get messages from Satan. And that you shouldn't, you didn't want, and to me, when I hear that today, that's insane. That's some insane BS, really. But because now I know that meditation it's a very instrumental part. And if you work 12-step programs, that's part of the 11th step is sought through prayer and meditation to improve my conscious contact with God as I understand Him, seeking only knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Now, you know what? The 12 steps, I love them. They're really just God-centric, So you kind of have to be careful when you're working these 12 steps, but it's that whole thing of, through prayer and meditation, we strengthen our conscious contact. And I believe that's what we do here at Unity Church as well. I study a lot of different things, spiritual things, as all of you do. I study unity principles. And, there's the virtues. There's a virtue for each month. And the virtue for the month of February, this is from Rudolf Steiner and a guy named Herbert Witzenman, who was an anthroposophist who lived back in the day, and he expanded on this. And the virtue for the month of February is discretion. Discretion becomes meditative force. And I want to share a little bit of this with you. And what I want to do, I'm going to share this, and then I've got a meditation we're going to read, and then I want us to go into some silence. I want us to spend a little extended time in silence this morning to end my talk. So he says, whoever has experienced through faith and destiny the immortality of his own true essence becomes discreet. So you see, this is tying in, and I got to tell you, this is a faith with January pulling into strength. Whoever has experienced through faith in destiny the immortality of his own true essence. Do you have faith in the immortality of your own true essence this morning? We develop that faith. He says, true discretion is the reversal of the way of thinking, also called repentance. So, we had this old way of thinking that I'm immortal, that I live this life, and I die, and I'm never coming back. Before I was born, I didn't exist. That's a weird thought to have. So we reverse that way of thinking, and we realize if we get into touch with that true essence, our immortal essence. He says the opposite of discretion is surrender to the senses. So discretion is being, it's being discreet, being silent, being quiet, being cautious, being careful not to offend, not to speak out of turn, being discreet of what to hold to yourself and what to share with others. And the opposite of discretion is surrendering to the senses, where I just open myself up to all the sights and sounds and, stimuli from the world around me. It says the immortal force of courage, which is the kernel of our being, loses consciousness of itself in the surrender to the senses. That immortal force of courage. Think about that. How many times in my life have I gotten so wrapped up in what I'm doing, whether it's in my office, with my family, and just, making a living and just doing the day-to-day activity. We get so wrapped up in life that we forget who we really are, the essence of who we are. He says, through reversal, on the contrary, it becomes conscious of itself. So when we stop and withdraw from ourselves from the senses of the world, then we become conscious of that immortal character. He says, therefore, silence is concentration of force. Silence is concentration of force. It is the sheath around the spiritual in us, which in the images of the sense world in its language is not communicable. It can't be communicated in the language of the world, and to the outwardly directed ear is not audible. You can't hear it. Silence is the sheath around that immortal part of us that the outside world can't communicate and we can't be heard. It comes from within. It says the ability to be silent becomes the protection which guards the spirit as an inviolable secret of the soul. The ability to become silent is the protection which guards the secret. So we get this spiritual nature, this spiritual understanding. And sometimes what we want to do is we want to go shout it from the rooftops. But discretion says maybe we need to hold that quietly and let that germinate and let that grow and let that develop. It says discretion does not betray the confidence which the spiritual world and man grant to it, since it receives it into the soul realm, which is protected from the reversal of our demanding nature. Discretion is the force through which the soul takes hold of itself. I like that. The soul taking hold of itself. That's what the world needs today, in my opinion. We need more enlightened individuals who in their own inner nature, their soul has taken hold of itself. And they're realizing that they are in charge. I am the one. So it experiences itself not as an inhabitant of the sense world, but of the spiritual world. So discretion is the force through which the soul takes hold of itself and experiences itself not as an inhabitant of the sense world, but of the spiritual world. Thus it becomes meditative force. So what I want to do is I'm going to read a short, it's called The Strength of Inner Quiet. I have a copy of this for everyone before everybody leaves today. And I would like to spend, if y'all are willing to do this, how about we spend 10 minutes in silence? And then I'm going to say a few words to end, just to close, and then we'll finish up our service. Maybe put us over just a few minutes, but is that, everybody okay with that? Does that feel like that? So, if you will, and we're going to go through the 5-step process. We have a 5-step process here at Unity, and the first step is relaxation. So let's everybody get relaxed, and I'm going to sit down. I like to sit and be relaxed with this as well. And, just get comfortable, or you can lay down as Laura's doing. That's great. And just put your feet on the floor and just kind of feel yourself sitting in the chair where you are in the pew, and take in a big breath. And exhale. And you may be having some thoughts of, what is this crazy white-haired guy fixing to do now? This is weird. This is not church. Just let all that go. Take another breath in and let it out. And I want you to concentrate on these words as we enter into the silence. Quiet I bear within me. I bear within myself forces to make me strong. Now will I be imbued with the glowing warmth, with my own will's resolve. And I will feel the quiet pouring through all my being, when by my steadfast striving I become strong to find within myself the source of strength, the strength of inner quiet. And as we slowly bring our thoughts and our awareness back to this present moment, back to this time, we have the realization and the depth of understanding that I do indeed have the strength to do all that is mine to do. I have the strength to do all that is mine to do. And our hearts are filled with gratitude and appreciation to the presence I am within me for this strength that allows me to carry the force of my creative will into the world in the right and perfect way. And so it is.
Thank you, Travis. It will just allow you to kind of stay in that sort of relaxed state for a little while. And bring you slowly out of it with this song titled Unplugged by Daniel Notland. Take a breath, take a seat, take a moment, and just breathe. Here you are, that's enough. Give yourself permission to unplug. Unplug, unlearn, unwind on your unsee, unturn, unload, unplug, unplay, unmake, unsay, unsing, unthink, undo. Take a breath for yourself, just for you and no one else. Feel the quiet, feel the love, feel the peace when you unplug. Unplug, unlearn, unwind, unyearn, unsee, unturn, unmove. Unplug, unplay, unmake, unsay, unsing, unthink, undo. Unplug, unrush, unbrace, untouch, unpush, untread, unload. Unplug, ungo, unwind, unknow, unwind. Welcome home. Take a breath. Take a seat, take a moment, and just be. Thank you.
That's beautiful. So, y'all, we are blessed. We are at the board yesterday. We are starting to dream of how to transform and do projects for capital improvement that we need to do. And one of the biggest ones is sound. And I think that's gonna happen. Robert has a plan. We have a challenge of $300 matching fund. And the whole project is going to be probably around $800. It's very doable. A lot of people have been interested in it. And it was just heartening to me yesterday to realize we're going to do this. We really are going to do this. We're going to improve lighting. I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, it's just exciting to me that we are a mighty community. I started to say on the other night on a phone call with Paul Hasselbeck, well, we're the little unity community. And he said, you are the mighty community. I've been there. Y'all are mighty. So anyway, so as we're preparing for our offering, we always have our saying, but just envision what unity can be, what this space can become and look like in the future. And say with me, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that we can be. So, there.
I tune into the experts on all the TV shows. I read the books that tell me all the things that I should know. I ask my friends what they think of things I'm going through. But no one has the answer. I know what to do. I have to listen for the whisper deep down inside. Listen for the whisper, a strong but gentle guide with a 1,000 different voices ringing in my ear. I listen for the whisper that only the heart can hear. The other voices tell me that I'm not good enough to win the peace of mind they say that I'm not worthy of. Though they shout so loudly, sometimes I can hardly think. I know where to turn to find the source of my strength. I listen for the whisper deep down inside. Listen for the whisper, a strong but gentle guide, with 1,000 different voices ringing in my ear. I listen for the whisper that only the heart can hear. Well, the whisper holds the answer. It's up to me to ask. I wonder why so often the thing that I do last is listen for the whisper deep down inside. Listen for the whisper, a strong but gentle guide, with 1,000 different voices ringing in my ear. I listen for the whisper that only the heart can. Listen for the whisper deep down inside. Listen for that whisper, a strong but gentle guide, with 1,000 different voices ringing in my ear. I listen for the whisper that only the heart can hear. Listen for the whisper that only the heart can hear. Thank you.
Come join me, Jeannie. Sure. Well, as I said, I'm going to be putting more information about the board meeting, but I was very encouraged. It's like we've stabilized somewhat, and now we're stepping forward. So I told you about the sound system. We're starting to make plans for the better lighting, and we'll just keep you posted on that. And Jeannie, I believe that you've got an outreach program you want to tell us about.
I do. So we're going to help Our House again. They are doing a diaper drive, and it's called Every Diaper Counts. Not only are they looking for disposable diapers, they would take new cloth diapers, wipes, diaper bags, and pull-ups. And the reason they're doing this is that a lot of children, in fact, over 3,200 children in Little Rock under the age of 5 live in poverty, they were saying. And their parents that need to go to work, if they don't have enough diapers to send to their daycare, they can't take their children. Their daycare are required to change the children. I think it's every couple hours. Sandy and I were talking about they have to be changed. That's part of their routine when you send your child to childcare. So if they don't have enough diapers to send, then they don't go to work. They don't get paid. It's kind of like a domino effect. So anyway, we're going to be doing a diaper drive. I have 2 baskets out there. We already have some disposable diapers in there. And this is through March 24th, 2 months to do this. If you would like me to do your shopping, I'm happy to do that. I'll probably go to Sam's because they have nice cases of diapers and wipes and pull-ups. I'm happy to do that. If I'm not here, you can always give the cash to Tam, and we will make sure that gets done. So thank you in advance for all your help. Thank you.
Well, now we also, it's going to be a good project. We have WOW coming up,
Oh my gosh.
and I'll tell more about it, but
So next Saturday is WOW, which is our Warriors of Wholeness, and guess who's going to be leading it?
So, okay. And Grayson may help me a little bit on this, but I'm the one that's going to get this going. But it's Nia moving to heal. And I swear to goodness, everybody in here can move some way, because you can sit in a chair if you want to, or you can get up and dance full out. But we're going to give you options, and everybody is going to be involved in the movement. The music is really fun, and the whole thing about healing is, do you feel better? And when you move a little bit and you get involved in the music, you feel better. So come try to see what that's all about on
Wear
Saturday.
comfortable clothing then?
Absolutely.
And once again, Warriors of Wholeness
It's everybody.
is everybody. All of us, men, women, children are all welcome to come.
Yeah, Dave Allgaier has frequented. He's not here today. We'll have to let him know. And it starts at 10, right? But do you
Come at
serve
9:30 for
snacks.
For snacks.
Okay, very, very, very good. All right, let's see. The class follows the service. I made chili, so there's some really good chili, and or if you want to go out and get a sandwich or whatever. But please stay and join us. We've changed this to a love offering, and you can, give as much as you can give, but we want everybody to be able to participate that wants to. So we wanted you to know that. And Reverend Colleen, we're really looking forward to it, aren't we? It's gonna be fun. I do have your contribution statement. Oh, I know it. Oh, and I have no doubts. And PJ is here today, so. Song of Majestic. I finally got the contribution statements done, and so Linda and I have the envelopes, and we'll be mailing to people that don't have them, but I think everything's ready to go. So let's all come together. Now, we do have next week is Ron Wyly. Ron Wyly, he's a wonderful speaker, and you'll really enjoy that. We want you to know that for our prayer protection, we've gone back to the original. We're going to try it that way, and then we're going to talk about it later on, but we're just going to start with that, so let's all join in.